Not what you wanted, but
how are you so sure?
You know, I'm just assuming. Maybe that's all you had. I don't know.
No, that wasn't ideal.
Yeah, what happened other?
I can make a lot of excuses. Just things have not been going optimally about the last 6 weeks. Stress on and off the track sort of took its toll, and pretty much had like a nervous breakdown at Boston. It was sort of last chance to get the time, and training up until then was just not going great. I mean, like my first 2 races of the year, Swarthmore and Windsor, paced by the one and only Nick Willis. I don't get those opportunities very often, but those were probably my fastest first 2 races ever. And so everything was going in the right direction. Then, you know, shit hit the fan. Nothing's perfect. And I think what we've seen with a lot of the 1500 guys, you know, you just want it so badly, and everyone's grinding to get that standard, and the stress of the trials is immense. And I couldn't hold up. And yeah, I've been basically suffering from what is only physically described as overtraining. Like getting out the door and going for a run is very difficult. Workouts are borderline impossible. I go do an easy workout and I feel like I've just run a marathon in terms of recovery, and so I would be damned if I wasn't going to come out here and give it a try. I would have lived with regret if I didn't step on the track today, having earned that spot. Number 31's probably a little pissed I was out there, but that's all right.
Will, I read about your...
Who's 31?
Who knows?
Number 31.
First
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I read about your
Garrett O'Toole, actually.
Yeah.
And so I see that you were in a Brooks single. Did you manage to get out of your contract?
Yeah, well, that was part of what the last 6 weeks stress was all about. I'd kind of all but forgotten about trying to fight my way out of the contract, realizing it was going to cost me a hell of a lot of money. That just wasn't worth it. But yeah, about 4 weeks ago, I got my termination note. Right in between Swarthmore and Windsor, I got my termination notice from our lovely friends over there in Beaverton, which, you know, added a little bit to the stress. It's what I was hoping for all along, but having sort of unloaded that stress and having it all come back on, and didn't really feel like talking about it until last week. I said, you know, everything's going shit right now, so might as well try and unload this and see if that can take some of the weight off of my shoulders. In the end, yeah, I couldn't come back from it.
So you said in Boston you almost had a nervous breakdown. Was that after all this training stuff started going badly, or?
After Windsor, so, you know, racing on a Monday, getting the termination notice and all of those feelings sort of resurfacing, that anger, that anxiety, that depression, then coming back and racing Windsor, basically that next week is sort of when training took a real slump, and I couldn't finish workouts. I could hardly do runs. My energy levels were ridiculously low, and I should have known something was up then, but you know, you're 6 weeks out from the trials, what the hell are you going to do? And so we just kind of kept grinding and like amending workouts as you would in a taper phase, but even the taper workouts that are supposed to make you feel great and are short and sweet, couldn't get through them. So yeah, that's a really unfortunate build-up to these Olympic trials. I was hoping for a lot better, obviously. I think no one wants to be knocked out in the first round, be one of the first 6, but hell, it's got to be someone, right?
So did it all reach a crescendo in Boston? What happened in Boston?
Well, I don't know if you saw the result there. I ran the 3:58, which is the slowest time I've run in like a non-tactical race as a professional, especially in a race I went 3:35.
Right.
And before the race, I was just, you know, training was crap. Was really stressed about, like, this is my last chance really to get the time.
Right.
And then it just kind of.
Have you been tested to see if you're anemic?
I have. You know, as you learn with these things, it's always like a little bit day late, dollar short. I'm supposed to get my test back tomorrow on adrenal function, and so it'd be nice to get those back the day after. I mean, like, whatever. What's the test going to do? It's just going to get in your head. So either everything is good and it's not sort of adrenal fatigue, or it's all right and it's or it's not all right, and you know, my body's kind of fucked.
So going to re-up for Asia?
Absolutely. It's Team Prot now. So we're very excited. I mean, I'm so pumped. I'm so proud of her, and it's going to be incredible. It would be difficult for both of us to be competing down there, you know, like we're each other's biggest support crew, and So to be able to fill that role, you know, while we would both like to have that athlete pass, I'm sure it'll be helpful to have me down there to be your errand boy.
You think you get back to where you enjoy this again?
I sure hope so. I really don't want this to be my last series of races. You know, a DNF in Portland, a 3:58, and then, you know, last place in my prelim. You know, it's like I went back this morning and watched the first round from 2012 and 2008. And it's just like, God, when your head's in the right place, this first round is nothing. You know, you see, you know, blanks. It's in great shape, but you know, you just the guys that are expected to be contenders on the team, you float through these rounds. Whereas like today, I was like, all right, well, it's either there or it's not. And at 400, I was like, all right, slow pace. You know, it's gonna be a big kick at the end. My speed is really good right now, and then it's got nothing. So
The 5 guys that have the standard. I mean, what do you think that is going through those 5 guys' head in terms of like?
Oh, those 5 guys. That's what's going through everyone else's head. If I were those guys, I'd go for it next round. I mean,
You don't have it, no.
Jordan McNamara, John, I forgot M, last Russian-sounding name, and I went for it in 2012, and that was a mistake. You just put way too much pressure on yourself in the final. So I think go for it in the semi. These first rounds, no one ran super fast. It wasn't taxing for the guys that think that they can run the time. You know, you got Isaac Yorks, the new Stephen Pfeiffer. He's going to get out there and just power his way, and hopefully they can come up with some sort of tactics, team tactics together, and sort of throw egos aside and say, like, fuck it, let's go for it. That'd be exciting. I'd like to see more than 5 guys have it in the final. I'd like to see 7, 8, 9, 10.
All right, thank you. Good luck. Start feeling